Welcome to the nosebleed section. This is Tyrell. And a week full of drama, full of coaching chaos, unpredictability in some sense, false narratives, getting ready for not one set of playoffs, but two sets of playoffs. I am your host, Tyrell. Welcome to the nosebleeds section. This is from the nosebleeds. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. John Harbaugh, fired, gone, no more. We called it right here on the show. The Ravens fans have been clamoring for it. And I'm not doing this show alone because a friend of the channel, a frequent guest on this show, the one, the only, the sports junkie himself, Mr. Andre Lakes. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. Let's get this going. So much to go over.
We got 7 NFL jobs up for grabs. The Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, the Atlanta Falcons, the Las Vegas Raiders, the New York Giants, Arizona Cardinals, and the Tennessee Titans. I think that's all of them. 7 jobs. And Dre, before we talk about John Harbaugh, which job to you, if you were an NFL head coach or an NFL offense coordinator, whatever it may be, and you're interviewing for one of these jobs, which job is the most attractive and appealing to you?
Baltimore, because of the talent that they have on there. Really, they just got beat up this season and then had some issues. And I say that slightly, but they had some issues defensively too. But like I said, everyone has those up and down years. Good one for, it happens. Just, other teams have gone through it. I believe they'll be back healthy and ready to go. So, and I'm taking my chances with Lamar Jackson as my quarterback and how that team kind of looks at Lamar Jackson. But with that being said, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear. Start holding. If you're going to hold Lamar Jackson to a specific standard, then damn it, you better hold everyone else to that fucking standard. Just quit moving the goalposts on him.
I will say this, and I listened to a lot of Baltimore sports talk today just to kind of get an inside of what their thought process, what they're thinking, to hear what the fan base is thinking when they're calling in. And for starters, let me start with this. Now, we talked about this on the Carousel show. What was that, last week, right?
Yeah.
And remember, I said Harbaugh could be gone, could be more than likely gone. But the way it's shaped out to where they weren't going to fire him. There was a meeting between Harbaugh, Bisciotti, Sashi Brown, and their general manager, Eric DaCosta. And essentially what went down in that meeting was they informed Harbaugh that there needs to be a change at the coordinating positions. And essentially they told Harbaugh, blow up the staff and restart. And Harbaugh was not willing to do that. And after a discussion, they decided to relieve Harbaugh of his duties to the point where Harbaugh didn't let the staff or the players know. It was Sashi Brown who broke the news to the staff, but that was after Adam Schefter had broke the fact that that Harbaugh was going to be relieved of his duties. So it came to a shock to a lot of people in the national media, but to the Baltimore fans, it was a bit of a relief. There was some excitement. We know that they wanted him gone a couple of years ago and wanted Mike McDonald to come in and take over that position. That clearly didn't happen. But two things happen in this. And it's kind of crazy because the Baltimore media, they don't think their team is the most attractive, most appealing of all the head coaching jobs, which I found very strange because I think that they do have the best roster, but those guys, those fans would know better than what we would know, right? But looking at from our point of view, not only did John Harbaugh become the hot commodity because it was Kevin Stefanski, and we're going to talk about Kevin Stefanski, and I'm going to talk about the false narratives and all that other stuff that comes with Kevin Stefanski, right? But it was Kevin Stefanski. Dan Orlowski's going full protest mode, full media blast for his boy and everything like that, defending him with honor and glory, right? And now it has shifted to where Harbaugh is the hot commodity, and the Baltimore Ravens are now the hot commodity team. So what do you think is going to happen first? Does Harbaugh find his job first? And everybody, I want to know what y'all think in the comment section as well. Please hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. The whole 9 yards, right? And I want to know what you think, and your comment will go right on there on the screen. We're going to react to it live. So with that being said, does Harbaugh get a job first, or do the Ravens find their head coach first? Like it matters anything, but just to get that conversation out there.
Honestly, I think Harbaugh is going to find a job a lot quicker. Not a lot quicker, but a lot quicker, just because of his name. And there's going to be desperate teams out there that can care less about what he's got going on and what he had going on in Baltimore. Like I said, any desperate team will be like, "Hey, we'll take your experience and see how this goes. High risk, low reward kind of thing." Like I said, because of his name, bro, he's going to get something fast.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's already being reported that Harbaugh is not going to take a job interview until next week. So I'm pretty sure he's deciding rather he wants to coach this year, decide to sit out. Because let's be honest here. It's not just NFL teams coaching, right? It's not just NFL teams. It's not just NFL teams.
Oh, no, 100% it's not. But also I think he's going to stay at that. Because if you're talking about him potentially talking to college as well,
broadcasting.
Not.
He can go to any one of these stations. He can go to any ESPN, Fox, CBS, NBC, Prime Video. He can go to any of these stations and literally land a job to where he is on television on a consistent basis. He can't, rather he's doing commentary or he's in that or in studio analysis. He can go anywhere he wants to go. So he could decide to sit back and go, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling these pool of teams. I'll go interview, but you know what? TV's looking real nice. And TV going to pay just about the same, if not more.
But also, too, if he is looking at these teams, he's not just going to look to go anywhere. He's already made them. He's not just going to go anywhere. If you tell him, oh, we're going to rebuild mode, he's probably going to be like, click. Yeah, this ain't happening. He's going to go to it. He's going to want to go to a team somewhat similar to what he had in Baltimore when they're fully stacked up and healthy. The only question is if and when he gets that team, can he turn it up when it's time to? Can he be a different coach than what he was in Baltimore?
And I'm gonna say something right here. I've heard a little bit of this, and I think this could be potentially true. I think this makes, and we were going to talk about it more extensively in when we get to the NFL Super Wild Card preview. The Bears and Packers game, right? To me, has become the most important game in this entire round of playoffs, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because again, I have been saying this. I've been seeing it through Green Bay media and everything like that. That LaFleur could possibly be gone, depending if they're one and done. And if they're one and done, right, and they fire LaFleur, I know. We're me and you sitting here thinking. A lot of people are like, "No, they ain't no way in hell," right? But I've told you this. This has been reported for the last 3-4 months, pretty much the entire season. Okay, if LaFleur is gone, if they lose this game to the Chicago Bears and they decide to let go of LaFleur, John Harbaugh becomes the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. That's my bold prediction right now. That's my bold prediction because if you think about it, it's not a rebuild. You're dealing with a team that's going to be competing for a Super Bowl championship. You're going to work with a young quarterback. We know this at this point with Harbaugh. Harbaugh can develop quarterbacks. The thing that they tried to tell us about Stefanski can grow quarterbacks and develop them and all this other stuff. Harbaugh literally can do that. Harbaugh developed 2 franchise quarterbacks in his 18 years there with the Baltimore Ravens. So why wouldn't the Green Bay Packers, if they decide to move on from LaFleur, if they lose this game on Sunday, why would they not sit back? Or Saturday? Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Which one? The Green Bay one?
I think it's Saturday. I think it's on Amazon on Saturday. If they sit back and lose this game,
prime time.
If they lose this game, especially if they get belt to ass. If the Packers get belt to ass and they let go of LaFleur, if I'm Harbaugh, I'm going to Green Bay. But if that job is not open, where does Harbaugh go if he decides to go to another team? Because everybody's saying New York Giants. I don't think it's the New York Giants. I think it's the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons are more ready to compete for playoff contention than the New York Giants. Like I said this at the beginning of the year. The Giants need about another 2 to 3 years to build upon what they're building on right now. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of future for the Giants, and it's a very good looking position because there's a lot of potential there. But I think that the Falcons are more ready today for John Harbaugh to go in there and change the culture and change what's going on in that building.
Do you think he can
locked and loaded for the NFC South?
Do you think he can change that inconsistent shit that they had this year?
Why couldn't he? Regardless of what's happened over the last 3 years with John Harbaugh, with the Ravens, with them going from the number 1 seed all the way down to not making the playoffs, right? The Baltimore Ravens have still been one of the most consistent franchises in the entire league. They have. So it's like, how could you not expect
you got a point.
Harbaugh? How can you not expect that? See, Harbaugh, and think about this. Harbaugh is not gone because of their performance. Like, yes, it played a factor into it. Harbaugh is gone because Harbaugh decided to stick up for his coordinators instead of throwing Monken and Zach Orr under the bus. That's why Harbaugh is gone. They sat down with him. They discussed the future of the team. They told him, hey, I bet you this is how it went. This is all speculation. We don't want to let you go, but the coordinators that we have on this team, they're not good enough. They're not good enough. And because of that, they're holding us back, and you need to let them go. And one or two things probably happened. They either sat back and said, you need to let them go, and you need to search for a new staff, because it is not just the coordinators that are going to go. They're going to be positional coaches going too, right? Or the organization sat back and was like, not only are you going to let them go, but we're going to take over this. One of the two things happened. Either way, Harbaugh was willing to tell Steve Pisciotti to his face, was willing to tell Sashi Brown to his face, no, I am not replacing my coordinators. I'm not replacing Todd Monken, despite the fact that Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson did not get along and they butted heads. And Lamar Jackson was sick and tired of Todd Monken. Clearly, Harbaugh wasn't. Despite the fact that Zach Orr literally has coordinated this defense becoming one of the best to one of the worst defenses in the league. He was not willing to let these coordinators and these position coaches go, and that's why he's a free agent right now. It's not the meme of the missed field goal and everything like that. This could have happened even if Baltimore made the playoffs and was one and done. This literally could have happened. This was something that was a long time coming. Monken's been there for the last 2-3 years. Zach Orr's been there for the last. Zach Orr came up through the ranks outside of his 1 year in Jacksonville, where he was the linebackers coach in Jacksonville. He came up through the coaching ranks in Baltimore on top of being a player in Baltimore, making second team All Pro his final year before he had to be forced to retire. So you don't think, and I think this, right? I'm more of a belief that Harbaugh was okay of considering letting Monken go, letting Todd go. I don't think Harbaugh was even considering letting Zach Orr go because that's one of his former players, and he has since developed him into a defensive coordinator. I think he was more so like, I'm not letting Zach Orr go. Monken, we can discuss it. Zach Orr, he stays. And the organization was like, we've literally watched the worst defense in our team's history. What is the Baltimore Ravens' pride? What is Baltimore's pride? Their pride is defense. When you think Baltimore Ravens, you think defense. So imagine your organization is built on defense and they have a bottom 5 defense in the entire league. You want them going. And your head coach that you've had for 18 years. Bisciotti loves Harbaugh, but this was a business decision. And it wasn't an easy one for them. This wasn't a Stefanski where the Browns knew going into Cincinnati that they were going to fire Kevin Stefanski. This is not one of those situations. They literally talked for an hour, and this was the conclusion of that meeting.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of covered that up pretty smoothly. But I mean, Harbaugh is going. I feel like that's kind of like Harbaugh's mo. He's always going to sacrifice himself before he throws somebody else under. So I think he does. I think it's going to be interesting to see these next couple of months and see where he transitions to. I'm telling you though, if he does go to Green Bay, I mean, think about it. He'll have generational talent, Micah Parsons on that D end. And then, like you said, he's good at developing quarterbacks, and Jordan Love's already pretty good as is. But now it's going to, if he was to go there, now he's really going to skyrocket.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen around the league. As of now, we know Baltimore has requested an interview with Clint Kubiak, which, by the way, they can only do over the phone. So teams that are interviewing coordinators that are in the playoffs, they have to wait to January 19th to interview them in person. Let me list off some of the hotter names in the coaching free agency, and I'll get your opinion on the top names and that once I read them all. So you got Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Stefanski, obviously, former head coach of the Browns. Harbaugh. Jim Schwartz has been thrown out there, not just for the Browns, but a few other teams. You got Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator in Green Bay. Jesse Minter is one of the hottest names out there. And I'm going to pause right there with the names real quick and talk about Jesse and the Baltimore Ravens because he was there in Baltimore when Mike McDonald was also there. I think he was there in Baltimore for like 4 years as an assistant. And then he goes over to the Chargers, and he's literally a product of Harbaugh, right? So from our point of view, right, it makes sense for the Baltimore Ravens to hire Jesse Minter. Am I right? From what I'm hearing from a lot of the radio personalities in Baltimore, they don't want Jesse Minter there whatsoever because it's too similar to Harbaugh. This is why I like listening to the local stuff, because you get the stuff that the national media don't tell you. They don't want Jesse. The national media is like, hey, the odds of Jesse Minter going to Baltimore is extremely high if you were to put your bets on it, right? And they're like, no, we don't want him here. He's too close. He's too Harbaugh. He's Jim and he's John combined. So you got Jesse Minter, defense coordinator of the Chargers. You got Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator of the I can't think of it. Seattle Seahawks. Chris Shula, grandson of the late legendary Don Shula. Brian Flores is also a top name. Wild cards. These are names that I'm hearing little bits and pieces of, and that's Matt Nagy. Even though Nagy, it should be really in the top name because he's with he has a couple of requested interviews with different organizations. Anthony Campanelli, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense coordinator, who 1 year there has completely turned around that entire defense. Joe Brady, Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. Aiden Dirty is the defense coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. He actually has been requested to be interviewed by the Cleveland Browns. Tommy Reese, the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator, and Grant Udinski, the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive coordinator. What do you think of those names, and who do you think out of the top name and the wild card? Because it's usually like one wild card that gets in there out of nowhere. Who do you see getting a job potentially?
What was his name?
Not name Harbaugh.
Yeah, not Harbaugh. No. You just announced. You just excuse my language. You just said it on. Who was the Jags again?
Their two coordinators are wild cards: Anthony Campanelli and Grant Udinski.
I think you did. I honestly believe it'll be Udinski that gets or that like little duo gets a job quick. Why? Because, and I understand Liam Cohen is also a big part of that. But despite Liam Cohen, we already know the success he already brought. But look at where the Jags were last year compared to this year.
Mm-hmm.
Any desperate team will look at that immediately. Even if it's a good team, they could look at that and be like, you know what? They were able to turn that in just 1 year. What a year difference makes. And they were able to turn it around. And not only, let's think about this for a second. Not only did they have a great season, but we went from calling him William back to Trigger Trev. Look at how much he has progressed since they started 4-1. Remember that little fall off that they had mid-season? Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Lately,
and they cleaned it up.
Yeah, they cleaned it right up, and they were hearing those chirps of like, okay, same old Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Here we go again. That 4-1 was fake. Nah, that 4-1 was not fake. Yeah, they hit a low road at one point, but they picked it right back up. So if anyone's going to get a job out of everyone you named, it would be them. Only because of that turnaround and because how well they have Trevor and the offense playing. And can we not forget about the trade that they made too? Trade or was a signing? It was one or the other. Correct me if I'm wrong, but picking up Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, the trade with the Raiders.
Yeah, that was another big. That was a
good trade. Now you got to admit, Jacksonville kind of lost that, and they made it up and made it up in different areas. But the Greg Newsome trade, the Tyson Campbell Greg Newsome trade has not worked out for Jacksonville whatsoever.
Oh yeah, that was
like not only was he not playing good in their system, but he's also been kind of hurt recently, and that kind of hurt them a little bit. But like Jacksonville was kind of going through that stretch that you're talking about, where they were having issues on both sides of the ball, and they were having discipline issues. They were having a lot of formation issues, holding false starts and everything like that. And they cleaned all of that up. Trevor Lawrence has been playing absolutely amazing. And doing my research for some of these candidates, one, I don't think Robert Saleh is going anywhere. I don't, especially Arizona. No, he's not going to Arizona. Campanelli has been regarded very highly prior to him even become the Jacksonville Jaguars defense coordinator. So even if he doesn't get a job this year as a head coach, this is one of these names that are going to be extremely hot going into the next couple of years for these head coaching candidacies. Another guy is Aiden Dirty. He's not the
he'll probably be the second one to get something away.
He's not the primary defensive play caller for them. Him and McDonald works very close together. But like there have been a lot of guys that he's coached with in the past that went over there to Seattle. Some of those defensive signings went to Seattle because they knew he was there as the defensive coordinator, including Lawrence. Lawrence credited Dirty as the reason why he went to Seattle over Dallas because he loves him as a coach. When you have players that are literally willing to move their entire families because you're coaching in a city or for a franchise, that is a good sign right there. And the Cleveland Browns are interviewing him. So, by the way, he's a British guy. He's a black British guy. So he does have that. Governor Chase, he does have a little bit. He does have a little bit of that. I got myself on war. So he has that, which is like, if he gets hired, like, there are going to be a lot of fucking memes. There are going to be a lot of memes on it. But from my understanding, he is supposed to be doing a pretty good job. He's doing a good job working with McDonald. He does do some of the play calling. He's not the primary one, but he does do some play calling as well. Joe Brady is one to look out for as well, potentially. And I'm going to say this too. I'd say Cliff Kingsbury could potentially be a head coach once again.
I've honestly believed I could honestly see Joe Brady. I could just see him getting an opportunity. I've always liked Joe Brady. I've never really had a knack about him, but I think he would be good. But the question is, where would he go?
Yeah, that is a good question. I mean,
where would he
and Joe, he did good in Baylor. He was excellent in Baylor. Matt Rule brought him up.
This is a different
when he became the head coach. He had a bad stint. He didn't have the best stint in Carolina, but that was when Carolina was just horrible. But terrible. I mean, Buffalo's off. Despite the fact that Buffalo doesn't really have weapons,
and Sean McDermott could be outie if
all
things don't go well in the playoffs.
This is what I know. There is a team out there that is about to fire a coach, and we don't know which team. And everybody's speculating Miami, right? It could be Buffalo because here's the thing, and you didn't bring this up, and I was going to see if you was going to bring this up, right? John Harbaugh gets fired yesterday, right? John Harbaugh received 7 phone calls from 7 different teams. There are 7 head coaching vacancies. One of those teams cannot be Baltimore. So who is that team that thinks they can bring in Harbaugh that's going to fire their head coach? That's the thing that we're going to have to figure out. Let's go through team by team. Let's see what teams have requested or is rumored to be targeting. Arizona Cardinals, they already requested an interview with Robert Saleh. They're going to interview Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph is another hot name, too. I've seen him across multiple organizations. They're also targeting Raheem Morris, Matt Nagy, Clint Kubiak, and Anthony Weaver, the Miami defensive coordinator. So strictly sticking to these names for the Arizona Cardinals, who do you think the Arizona Cardinals
I can see Raheem
are going to try to hire and will take the job?
Wait, say that last part one more time.
So who could, out of the names that I said in this, because we're going to strictly strict to the names that are being reported right now. We're not going to go outside the realm. I just named some of the hot commodities, this, that, and third, but we're now sticking to, strictly to the reports that these teams are interviewing or going to interview these guys. So Arizona has requested an interview with Saleh. They're interviewing Vance Joseph, and they're also going to interview Nagy, Morris, Clint, and Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator for Miami. Out of those names, who takes that job and who does Arizona do you think Arizona's going to hire?
I don't know why, but since the firing and JC, Mar, Ragu, Isaiah, I know somewhere around you might be watching this show, but call me crazy, call it whatever you think, but I think Raheem Morris would be the one to take that spot. He would either take that spot or Miami.
Yeah, I think he's going to be calling Sean McVay and see if he can become the defensive coordinator there. Chris Shula is the defensive coordinator. I mean, maybe a defensive assistant because Shula is the coordinator for the Rams. So we'll see about that. Or is he the offense coordinator? I can't remember all the time. But I mean, Chris Shula, like, just to like bring up the fact that his grandfather is Don. His father Dave wasn't a very successful coach. But his father, Dave, was also an NFL head coach in the 90s for the Cincinnati Bengals when the Bengals were in their, they call it the dead decade, that era of Cincinnati. He was there, and he actually coached against his dad. So Chris would be a third generational head coach in the league. So to me, I think out of all those names, I think either Vance Joseph or Anthony Weaver takes that job. And I'm gonna lean more towards Vance Joseph because I think he's gonna want another chance, another crack at, and he didn't get a fair share in Denver, like, and he's not gonna get a fair share here neither. But I
I was
just
about
think
to
that
say,
he
if
would
he
want
didn't
to
get it
give it
there,
a
he won't
try.
get it here either. But
He
I
won't get
mean,
it there, no.
A for effort. Can't blame him for trying. You don't think Witters will go?
Do I think who's gonna go?
I mean, not you just fucking mentioned his name.
Weaver or Morris?
Weaver. You know, where do you
No,
think?
I think Weaver's kind of like waiting to see what's gonna happen with Mike
Oh, so you think he's
McDaniel.
kind of like trying to? You think he's placing? You think he kind of placed himself on the outside looking in, kind of?
Yeah, one of those things.
Kind
I
of
mean,
feel
hey,
out
if he
his
takes it, he takes
options.
it. But I
You
mean,
think
and
he's gonna go
Arizona's
for the
not.
money, whatever
I
that
mean, who?
can.
Look, I'm gonna keep it real. There's a lot of people that would go for it for the money,
Oh no,
but
I would
you're
too,
gonna
but
have issues that you're gonna have quarterback, and that's the thing. Like, are they gonna keep Kyler Murray? Are they gonna draft
that's
Ty
yeah.
Simpson? Are they gonna try to trade up to get Dante Moore and poach him from the Jets? But and we don't know. We don't know. They're sitting with the 5th overall pick. Are they gonna get Caleb Downs? Are they gonna get Carnell Tate to pair him up
Oh yeah, because he just entered the draft.
with Marvin?
Him
With
and
Marvin Harrison Jr.
yep.
I mean, 2 Ohio State wide receivers. You get a quarterback in there. That's kind of an attractive job. And you got Trey McBride as well. Arizona got a lot of issues, but Arizona has a lot of potential as well. So I'm not sure. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons. They requested for Clint Kubiak. We're going to hear a lot of the same names, but we know that Clint Kubiak has a interview with Baltimore, or is going to have an interview with Baltimore. He has been requested to have an interview with Atlanta. Anthony Weaver is another name that's been requested, and they're also targeting Kevin Stefanski and Vance Joseph. Who do you think Atlanta would take?
Now I know we did mention that Vance would be. I think he, like you said, I think he's gonna scour out any opportunity he can really get. Because, like you said, he really is looking for one more shot at least, just to give this a shot. I think that's crazy that you even brought him up, because I think the last time I heard, it's been a while since I've heard that Vance Joseph name.
I mean, he's doing a great job in Denver with that defense. He's been doing a
Oh
great
no,
job with
yeah,
that defense the last couple
100%.
of
That's
years.
what I'm saying. Wherever he goes,
That's
bro,
the
that
thing. Like,
defense.
Vance is legit. Like, and I didn't mention this in the hot. He's literally one of the hottest names out there. Like, he's being requested or targeted by almost every single team with a vacancy. So there's definitely something there. Now, if I was Atlanta, out of these names, I can't say Vance Joseph because I think Vance Joseph, like, I'm gonna stay,
Neutral.
not neutral, but like consistent and keep that continuity. I think that this is a good fit for Clint Kubiak. You got a young quarterback that you can develop. You got Bijan, you got Algier, you got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, you got a good offense, you got a solid offensive line, you got a solid defense. You just come in there, change that coach around and everything like that, and just get things going, and develop these guys. Michael Penix still needs to develop. We know he's going into his 3rd year, but he can still develop, and you still have, as of now, you still got Kirk Cousins to help you out with developing Michael Penix as well. So I think this is a good fit for Kubiak, and he can clean some things up that they need to clean up. And I think that's a solid pick for that.
I agree with you on him going there, but you better hope he can change. And I know we live in a league where it takes time to develop, but you got to understand, like, Atlanta, I believe, is running out of time, and if this coach if he can come in and change it, I'm not saying like right away, but if he can make some type of changes soon, because at some point Bijan Robinson is going to get annoyed
Yeah.
with the lack of winning and lack of inconsistency. So if nothing changes in Atlanta and fast, when that contract year is up, he is going to be looking to hit that free agency market. So, and I know it's easier said than done, but he's going to have to find a way to, at least if they don't make playoffs, at least make it, at least try to make wild card, but like you guys got to start making some motions happen because, like I said, Robinson's happy fine right now past that, but eventually he's going to be like, all right, I got to take my talents elsewhere. So something has to be happen quick.
Yeah. Baltimore, the three names I'm hearing: Vance Joseph, Brian Flores. Yeah. Brian Flores and Clint Kubiak. I got Clint Kubiak already going to Atlanta. I think Brian Flores would be an excellent fit here. I think this is a fit for him. Hold the team accountable. We know the issues that happen in Miami and everything like that. We know, and we know the things that went on with him and Tua and everything like that. I don't think he's gonna get nearly as much of that bite back. Yeah, not Timo Tua, like actual Tua. I don't think he's going to get as much fight back from the organization. He's going to have an organization that's going to support him more. And he's also going to have an organization that's going to have his back more. Like Miami, they wanted him to just fully tank. Like, hey, we're tanking. We're going to pay incentives for you to tank. And he essentially got fired for not tanking like, think of those teams that he coached and how shitty those teams were. And he was able to produce a 24-25 record with that team. And they really didn't back him up. So I think a defensive mind like that with the Ravens' identity being defense, and you can bring in a Cliff Kingsbury to help Lamar out. You saw what Cliff did with the healthy J5. Imagine him as the offense coordinator with Lamar Jackson. You pair that up nicely, and Cliff is not one of those big alpha dogs that you got. Brian Flores is that alpha dog that you need for that organization to change things around and be that new voice to try to get Baltimore over the hump.
And he deserves another shot.
Absolutely. All right. Next is, I believe it's my beloved Cleveland Browns. Here are the interviews that are confirmed. So tomorrow they're going to interview Tommy Rees and Jim Schwartz. They're going to do those internally.
What difference is this going to make?
Todd Monken is going to be interviewing as well. They already requested for Aiden. They requested for Dan Pitcher. You know who Dan Pitcher is?
Yes, I do.
Yes, he's going to be interviewing as well. Don't be surprised if you hear John Harbaugh's name gets into this as well.
You're gonna need offense, buddy.
I'm gonna let you go first because I have two. This is my team, so I'm kind of gonna go a little bit of a tangent with my team on this.
You might as well, because if we being for real, it don't matter who go over there. Y'all just it don't matter.
Okay, so this city wants Schwartz. Like the fan base wants Schwartz as a head coach. I'm not sold. I know he did a solid job. I know he did the best he could in Detroit, but a 29-51 record is not appealing to me whatsoever. Now, he didn't make the playoffs with that Detroit team, at the time the organization was in turmoil at the ownership level. And I think that was at the same time that Elder Ford was starting to pass away as well, or he was like very sick. So like their focus wasn't really on them at the time. So that's why a lot of people think he get a second chance. Since he got fired from Detroit, I mean, he's been a phenomenal defense coordinator, whether it was with us or Philadelphia or anybody else. So we know he can coach his ass off on the defensive side. The thing I'm thinking the Browns are going to do, I think two things is going to happen. Either they're going to hire Schwartz, as you know, either they're going to hire Aiden Dirty, depending on how well he interviews. Either they're going to hire him and try to keep Jim Schwartz there and to help him out. Or, and this is where I think is more likely, even though it's more likely out of the scenario I'm talking about here, but a lot of people wouldn't like it or anything like that. If Tommy Rees is supposed to be this real smart, up-and-coming guy, right, that has the Nick Saban seal of approval, has all these national media, all the coaches and executives saying he's going to be a head coach one day, and he's all of this, and he's a guru, or he's an up-and-coming guru, and all this other thing, right? And the organization wants to keep Jim Schwartz in the building. I would not be surprised if they promote Tommy Rees, because maybe somebody out there think he's the next Sean McVay. He's only 34 years old. He's very young. Yes, he inexperienced at the NFL level. Yes, but he is a guy that a lot of people have high praise. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I will say his play calling got better with the tools that he had. So they could keep Tommy Rees, which means they could also kind of like influence him more compared to a Jim Schwartz or a Tom Monken, especially Tom Monken. You ain't gonna convince him or influence him to do jack of all shit, to be honest with you. So they could probably influence him more to keep Jim Schwartz in the building. And then they're gonna sit back and say, you know what? Since this is your first year being a head coach, we know you like the play calling. Bring in a play caller. You don't play call, bring in an offensive coordinator, whether it's Kingsbury or we got to poach somebody from the CFL or from college football or anything like that. And you know, I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm serious. This is a possibility for the Cleveland Browns. This is also the most Cleveland Brown thing they will fucking do. And I will say this about like Haslam. Haslam may not know what the fuck he's doing, but damn it, he does try to swing for the fences. He does. No, I mean, am I bullshit?
No, I
here?
know. I get no.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
And this is my rant on the national media. For any of the people that are like, you Browns fans don't know what the fuck you had with Kevin Stefanski, don't know jack of all shit. And did Stefanski, like I said, did Stefanski do what he was supposed to do here, made the organization better? Yes. But why is it that our team has to settle for mediocrity? Like Kevin Stefanski below average, like well below average the last 2 years here. We hit a wall with Stefanski, and if Stefanski go do his thing and he go light it up somewhere else, oh my gosh, I can't wait for that because the city is just gonna keep getting dumped on. The reason why we take it so personally here because it's never just an attack on our teams. It's always an attack on our entire city and our entire fan base. And they always tell us that you should be happy with it. You should be happy with Baker Mayfield playing inconsistent and all this other stuff. Or if they have a superstar, we got to get him out of town. Myles Garrett, LeBron James, Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor. If there is superstar here, superstar head coach, superstar quarterback, whatever the case may be, the national media be ready to run them the fuck out of Cleveland.
Yep.
They did it with LeBron twice. Oh man, we can't wait to 2010. Man, we can't wait. Well, man, LeBron's going to Los Angeles. LeBron going here. Like Myles Garrett going here. Yes, Myles Garrett brought it on himself a little bit, but even prior to that, the national media which just kept clamoring for Myles Garrett to get traded. And I get it. We're not a good organization. I get it. But it's like we're just like any other team. We're just like any other fan base that wants to win a Super Bowl. So why the fuck do we have to settle for 8 wins in 2 years and be happy with that? And this whole notion that, you know, we got to be happy with Baker Mayfield playing inconsistent. We got to be happy and be satisfied and be thrilled that Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year. And damn it, you better smile and wave, even though he don't been 8-26 in the last 2 years. That's BS. And then you know they bring up the same jokes about, oh, your river's on fire and all this other bullshit about Cleveland. And this is like, bro, we us Cleveland fans, we are so sick and tired. We are so sick and tired of being like the fucking, like we embrace it a little bit because it's like, man, come on, man, you saying the same shit. But at the end of the day, we are so sick and tired of being everybody's punching bag. Like it's like I heard Quincy Carrier on who's one of the premier Browns channels on YouTube say, and I watched his clip, and a lot of the things I'm saying is kind of similar to him because he's right, and I've always thought this way. So I'm kind of repeating some of the same stuff, but like this, it's true. It's the truth, right? And he said Cleveland got to be one of the few, if not only markets, both in a sports sense and in a real life sense, that has to fight through hell to try to get to heaven, and everybody gets mad at it. Like, how dare Cleveland try to be better? How dare Cleveland demand better? How dare their fan base, whether it's the Guardians, whether it's the Cavs, or if you want to call them the Indians, so I won't offend anybody, or the Cavaliers, or how dare you ask for something better? How dare you not settle for below average? That's what we were getting with Stefanski. We were getting below average productivity. And that's not just, two-time coach of the year, 2020, 2023. Y'all don't forget 2021 and 2022, 7 wins, 8 wins. And then these last 2 years, 8 wins combined. And we're supposed to, because he's two-time coach of the year, Stefanski, we're supposed to settle in on that. And we're supposed to be okay with it. And we're supposed to be, happy and jovial and screaming and going, yay, 8 wins because he's two-time coach of the year. If he goes and does a better job, guess what? The city of Cleveland is used to that. My mother, love my mother to pieces. My mother is not from here. I'm from here. My mother's not. My mother's from Savannah, Georgia. And she moved up here when she was pregnant with my brother. And, she always tell me, like, she has seen me cry. She's seen me get upset. She's seen me stoic. She's seen me highly disappointed. She's seen me punch a hole through a door because of our teams. And she be like, Tyra, that the city of Cleveland is just a training ground for anybody to go somewhere and be better. And it's true. Look at LeBron. As much as we don't like LeBron, he got his first 2 rings out of here, out of Cleveland. Look at Belichick. Everything that built that whole Patriots dynasty.
Wait, his first 2?
What, his first 2 what?
Wait, LeBron, because I know he won in 16. Did he win another year?
I'm talking about the first stint.
Oh, the first stint. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, did I miss something in history?
No. We don't do revisionist history in the nosebleed section. We don't do revisionist history from the nosebleed show. We keep it a buck. We keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? But
go ahead. Belichick, I just had to clarify.
Belichick literally built the Patriots dynasty here in Cleveland.
He also showed us
Cleveland was the training ground of the Patriots dynasty. So we're used to that. We're used to guys leaving, getting all the lessons and life lessons, and going. So Nick Saban.
Yeah, what he did to the Dolphins.
No, I'm not even talking about the Dolphins. Nick Saban was a defensive coordinator here along with when Belichick was here.
That's right, in Cleveland. That's right.
He was not here in Cleveland.
Him and Bill. Right?
Schwartz was an assistant here in Cleveland when Belichick was here.
That's crazy. I forgot he was with Cleveland too, and the Giants.
You got to realize, man, Cleveland is a training ground. I've realized that, and that's okay. I'm okay. It hurts.
Maybe in another lifetime, Tyrell.
No, it's gonna happen in my lifetime. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen in my lifetime that we are gonna be city of champions. And I'm talking about consistently. I'm not discrediting 2016. I'm grateful for 2016, but like where we're like, and then maybe that's just me being delusional and having faith. Fine, whatever. Call me a homebody. Call me whatever it may be. I love my city, man. I love my city and I love my teams. That's why win, lose, or draw, I represent the Browns. I represent the Cavs. I represent the Guardians. Even though I don't talk about the Cavs and Guardians as much because my passion is football primarily, I still represent and love all my teams.
You don't have a hockey team out there, huh?
The Monsters, yeah. Well, I'm not into hockey all like that. I'm starting to get into hockey. I'm not into hockey all like that. But we love our teams out here. The only time we get love out here is like other fans kind of going like, damn, Cleveland, y'all kind of going through it and y'all still selling out the stadium. Y'all still supporting them. Like, damn, y'all tough for that shit. But like, we got so much. Look at the Deshaun Watson shit. Give the Browns credit. They swung for the fences. They swung and they missed. Because we swing and we miss, we supposed to stop swinging. Imagine telling a baseball player that keeps striking out to stop swinging. Eventually, he gonna hit a home run. Eventually, gonna hit a double. Something, right? Am I tripping here? You know what I'm saying? To use baseball analogy here, we swung and we missed. Like I said on the live stream on Monday. We not gonna sit here and act like Deshaun Watson wasn't a top 5 in 2022. Name me 4 other quarterbacks better than Deshaun Watson, despite the fact that he sat out a year.
So
I give you Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I give you those 3. Name me one more. Maybe Stafford.
I was about to say, what about Stafford?
That was even a conversational piece in 22.
Hey,
despite the fact that he won the Super Bowl.
Stafford is
So
him.
if we put Stafford there, right? So we just named 5. Name me another 5.
Hold on. So we got
So
we got a
22. Lamar Jackson, no particular order. Lamar, Patty, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford. That's 4. Who the 5th one? 22. 26-year-old. We know what about the legal problems, right? Because you can't name a 5th one. You can't name a 5th. I did my math wrong the first time around. You can't name a 5th one. It was Deshaun Watson. Now we know about the legal stuff. We know about the massage stuff. You know, Robert Kraft style, Justin Tucker style. We know about that, right? But like I said Monday, we're not gonna sit here and act like there weren't 6 teams vying for his services. We're not going to sit here and act like that. We're not going to sit here and act like the Browns outbid everybody, both in draft picks and money, including a division rival. We ain't going to sit here and act like Seattle wasn't going for him. We ain't going to sit here and act like Atlanta. He was about to go to Atlanta. New Orleans.
I remember that.
Carolina. So what was it? Atlanta, Cleveland, New Orleans, Carolina, Seattle, Pittsburgh. Oh, and it was small rumblings of Baltimore because they didn't know what the contract situation was with Lamar. So they was gearing up for that too. So you had 6, but a possible 7 going for a 26-year-old Deshaun Watson, who sat out a year because he was a top 5 quarterback. Baker wasn't a top 5 quarterback. Baker just became a top 5 quarterback. And guess what? The last, 8 games into the season, we saw Cleveland Baker Mayfield. And not 2020 Cleveland Baker Mayfield neither. We saw 2019, 2021 Baker Mayfield. And I'm not here to shit on Baker and all that stuff, but the notion, and I had this conversation with my coworker, right? And we was like, hey, what if he cuts? Like, let's play this scenario, right? Let's play this scenario. What if we were to cut Deshaun Watson, right? And Minnesota was to sign him to a veteran minimum. And Deshaun Watson ball out. How do you think that narrative is going to go? Do you think it's going to go Deshaun Watson revived himself, or is it going to go Cleveland fucked him over?
Honestly, if you were to come out popping, and I'm talking like the whole season.
The whole season.
Yeah, if he came, the narrative would change.
The narrative would change from Deshaun Watson.
Why? They would move the goalpost on that, because if he does, like I said, so for example, and then we can move, then we can go on. My bad. But for example, say he goes out and they go 14-3 to finish the season and they get the number 1 seed. Say that happens right now. It won't, but just say that did. The second that happens, bro, I bet you go on, you find local reporters, local news, whatever. Deshaun Watson's our savior. Deshaun Watson is this. We love Deshaun Watson. But just 6 months ago, just a year ago, it was fuck Watson and this, that, and the third, and get him off our team. We don't. No,
it was the same way with Baker. It was the same way with Baker.
It will change.
Think about it, right? Think about like what happened with Baker. Baker goes to Carolina. He stinks up the joint in Carolina. He goes to Los Angeles, has that 5-game revival. He goes to Tampa, throws for more touchdowns than anybody else in the league in the last 2 years. Now it's the Browns fucked them over. Like, and like I said, I had my gripes. I got my gripes. One prime example is that we should have sat him out when he hurt his shoulder. But at the end of the day, Baker was too inconsistent here. And the organization looked at him. And we're not, now the report is, right? Y'all know you've seen this. Now the report is Kevin Stefanski had nothing to do with the trade whatsoever. It was all Andrew Berry. It was all Jimmy Haslam. It was all Paul DePodesta. Kevin Stefanski didn't have a clue. He didn't know. He didn't approve of this. He wasn't on board with this. Andre, let me ask you a question. Comment section, let me ask you a question. No revisionist, no bullshit, not even defending my team. Real authentic shit right here. Do you believe that shit? Do you believe Kevin Stefanski had no clue or was not on board whatsoever with getting Deshaun Watson and wanted to keep Baker Mayfield? Because now that's what's being reported. Do you think that's real? I'm gonna give you your answer, but I want to know your answer.
I mean, it could be, but I don't think so. Just because I feel like as
No.
a head, listen, because as a head coach, you are involved in every little thing that goes on in your locker room, and that's how I really believe. Like that whole, and I don't mean to go back on it, but that whole Deflategate and all that, when Bill Belichick and everybody
Everybody knew.
especially the
Mr.
head
Deflategate
coach.
was bullshit because dude, they whooped their ass 45 to like what 28 or
It
something.
really didn't matter.
The wasn't winning nothing.
But point being is like the head coach is in on anything and everything that goes in. Sean Payton, he was in on the bounty hunter thing.
On the bounty gate, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But here's the thing. Now, the Joe Flacco trade, right, that we did with Cincinnati, he didn't know about that. That is a fact. That is actually like they came in there and was like, hey, we're not just discussing it, we're trading Joe Flacco. That's exactly what happened. Because and we can go back and go watch him like the day after or the day of the trade happened. He is flustered by it, like because he wanted to ride with Joe Flacco. And Barry's like, no, we got it. And that's where their relationship started to deteriorate. It wasn't the Deshaun Watson thing like they're trying to tell you. It was Joe Flacco. Because Barry did a underhanded move behind Kevin's back, didn't consult. That was, but prior to that, they were like this. They were like this. And I'm gonna tell you how the new report is Kevin Stefanski had nothing to do with it. So we ain't gonna sit back and act like the reports of Paul, Jimmy, Kevin, and Andrew Barry flying to Deshaun Watson's house. We ain't gonna sit here and act like Kevin Stefanski wasn't drawing up schemes and showing Deshaun Watson the playbook to recruit him and get him here. To recruit and get him here in Cleveland. Because even Deshaun Watson came out and said that's what happened. But now Kevin Stefanski had nothing to do with it because they got to get because they got to get him out there. They got to push the narrative. They got to make Cleveland look more like shit. They got to make the organization look like shit. They got to make the Browns look like shit. They got to make the city of Cleveland look like shit. Stefanski had nothing to do with it when he's sitting on his couch. He's sitting at a dining room table with Deshaun Watson. He's sitting at Deshaun Watson's dining room table. So make that make sense. So for anybody that's watching this, whether live or on demand, just know that the national media is lying to you. Just know they're lying to you. No Donald Trump shit. Like they're lying to you. They're literally spinning the narrative and telling you now that you are delusional for thinking that Kevin Stefanski had something to do with it. Because he did, but they're going to tell you that he didn't. They're going to tell you that he didn't, despite the fact that they all came out. All four of them sat back and said that we, as a collective unit, as a collective team, went and did this. And let me remind you, people, the Browns did mortgage the future back in 2022 for today. It failed. It happens. Minnesota did it with Herschel Walker. It failed. Because look what Houston built off of those picks. But like I said, in 2022, top 5 quarterback in the league, not top 5 prospect. Deshaun Watson was a proven quarterback. We didn't trade 3 first rounders, a second and 2/3 for an unproven player. We traded it for a proven player. Was Deshaun Watson not a proven, bona fide, Pro Bowl, All-Pro, top 5 quarterback in the league at the time of the trade? So with that being said, yes, Barry played a part in it. Barry has worked around that whole ordeal. Yes, it was DePodesta primarily, then Barry, teaming together, but DePodesta led the forefront, along with Kevin Stefanski, because he was in there too, and all 3 of them went to Jimmy Haslam and pitched the idea of Deshaun Watson, and this is where the Cleveland Browns are now, finding a new head coach. Surprisingly, not finding a new general manager. And I don't know if you saw
I was
Jimmy
just about
Haslam's
to ask you
comments.
about the. I was just about to ask you about the general manager
Yeah,
situation.
I don't know if you saw. You go look up Jimmy Haslam's press conference. It's 10 minutes long. And matter of fact, go back to the Money live stream and get my live reaction. Yes, cheap product plug. Okay, that was a longer Browns rant than I expected. Okay, Las Vegas Raiders, because I know you got to get going. Las Vegas Raiders. Who do you think they hire? They're also interviewing Davis Webb, the quarterback coach for the
I would like for them to, like we've been saying in the
Broncos.
fucking group chat, excuse my language again, but like we've been saying, get Flores, man. How cool would that be? I think Flores could be, because like we said, I think that's another guy that deserves an opportunity. But I feel like with Brian Flores, not only is he going to come in and make a change, and I'm not saying AFC Championship / Super Bowl that his first year. No. But I feel like with Flores there, they will be very competitive, and at least in terms of the offensive side. We know what he can do on defense, but I feel like he's also going to come in here, get a quarterback, clean up that line, and I think we're going to see a change. Again, I'm not saying change in terms of playoff, Super Bowl or anything, but change in terms of competitiveness. But it all depends on who they hire, and if scouts do their job correctly, as JC would say.
I mean, there is that connection there with Brady and Flores. I mean,
But what
they were.
scares me,
I don't know if they
my bad,
interacted
hold
with
on.
each other a lot.
My bad. I was just gonna say the only thing that scares me with Flores though is like I'm afraid they'll do to Flores what they did to their AP. There we go, Antonio Pierce. Because I feel like yes, Flores has good qualities going over there, but also at the same time, it's another high risk, low reward situation kind of thing, and I just don't want them using him as the scapegoat.
One, the Raiders can't afford another one and done. They've got what?
They fucking
two of those
can't.
now. They got
Mark
two of
Davis
those now.
will find a way.
They can't afford another one. I'm not talking about from a money standpoint. That I'm talking about organizationally. They cannot. I mean, dude, you had the general manager doing the offensive line tapes and doing the offensive lines coach job.
Yes.
I know that was Pete Carroll's son, but what the absolute fuck? What the dog fuck? Like seriously? Like come on now. And I wish Red Goon was on here to go on his rant about these mother Canuckas. You know what I'm saying? Flores and Brady got that connection because they were in the same building together. I don't know how much they interacted. Well, especially since like Flores was just only an assistant offensive coach when he first broke into the coaching ranks with New England back in 2010. So there is that relationship. That relationship is at least there. I think he will bring that toughness and that Raider swagger that they kind of need. He would definitely hold players accountable. They definitely need an alpha dog in there, not a Pete Carroll, not not a nice guy like Antonio Pierce.
AP was an alpha dog too, and look what happened to him.
Not nowhere near what Brian Flores is. Let's be honest here. He wouldn't take none of that shit. Brian Flores will leave the job before he takes some bullshit. That's how much of an alpha dog he is. He be like, man, yeah, you can have it. There you go. You got this. Fuck you. I'm gone. I'm out. I'll go get a job somewhere else. But he could have changed from the last time he was in Miami. Tomlin, working with Kevin O'Connell the last couple of years. So I think that'd be a solid fit. New York Giants, they're going to interview Kafka, their interim head coach. I saw the Hard Knocks clips. He can't motivate me to run through a wet paper bag, man. He can't do it. This is interesting because I was reading about this. Stefanski was actually having dinner with the New York Giants when the news of Harbaugh getting fired was broke. So he's already had his interview with the New York Giants. And that's not the New York Giants' first interview. They're also interested in Mike McCarthy. They're also interested in Cliff Kingsbury. And they're also interested in Lou Amorano, the defense coordinator for the Colts. Which I don't think that's a good move whatsoever. That Colts team was that Colts defense, especially at the bottom half of the season.
Half of the season, yeah, that was terrible.
And then Tennessee, Matt Nagy, Raheem Morris, Steve Spagnuolo. So I'm hearing they're interviewing
Ooh.
Spags, Vance Joseph, and Jason Garrett.
Again, good Lord. Jason Garrett.
Yeah, you heard me correctly.
Well, we saw what he
Jason
did in
Garrett.
Dallas.
Jason Garrett literally got requested to be interviewed. Even though what? The last time he coached was the offensive coordinator for the Giants back in what, 2020? 2021?
Yeah, about. Oh, yeah, that's right. He did coach with the
Nagy's a
Giants.
hot commodity. What did we not see Matt Nagy's tenure in Chicago? He had that 1 year. He had that
And
1 year,
then
but
it
did we
was-
not? Did we? I mean, I know people deserve second chance. Don't get it twisted, but sometimes
we saw what we need to see.
you get your job because of your quarterback. You get a head coaching position because of your quarterback, man. Which is funny enough because I don't know how Bieniemy never got a head coaching job. Never. Which is crazy to me. And I think I'm hearing that he might try to come back into the league.
That's now though.
But what are your final thoughts on the coaching carousel before we move on to, and we're gonna stick with the NFL before we move on to Super Wild Card.
No, you're good. But no, 1,000%. It's going to be an interesting offseason in terms of who's going to get hired and who's still currently on the potential firing list too. Because you got to realize this season not over yet. So there's going to be. I feel like we're going to have more coach firings than player signings this offseason.
I don't think that's true. You know, the new TV deal money kicks in this year, so expect a lot of high contracts and a lot of people getting paid.
Oh fuck, that's gonna be.
Mm-hmm. I think everybody gets.
Gonna be good.
I'm not gonna say. I think every team gets $425 million.
Hey, Puka.
As a cap hit. I mean, as a salary cap.
I wish his contract was up because I would love to take Puka on my team, stealing from JC.
Okay, so don't let him hear you say that shit. So,
and if he is watching, Drake MVP May. What you got to say about that?
All right. Here you go. All right. Super Wild Card round. Rams, Carolina Panthers. Carolina beat them earlier this year while the Rams were healthy. We know JC is like, hey, Sean McVay likes to pick and prod with these teams sometimes and figure them out. You think Carolina could do it again?
Well, you got to understand what they did. They not saying that they can't, but this is where Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay really turned it up. It's they realize and understand that this is do or die. This is win or go home now. There is no next week. So I feel like the Rams and I feel like Stafford, Sean McVay, and that whole entire Rams team, they're going to be on point with each other. They're going to go ahead and win that one. I think 34-20.
34-20. Give me. I think Carolina's going to upset again. This is my hot take with this. Give me Carolina. 28-27. Carolina.
28-27. Okay.
Chicago, Green Bay. Like I said earlier in the live stream, Green Bay and Chicago, this might be one of the most important wild card games, depending on how this goes. This could literally create another butterfly effect. Chicago, Green Bay, part 3. They played against each other a few weeks ago. I mean, this is what their third time in 6 weeks that they played against each other. So who you got?
That's
rubber match. Who you got?
You go because I want to pick. Hold on.
I think Chicago might explode. Now it's gonna be a little different with Trayvon Diggs a little bit. They got a more aggressive corner. But like Ragu says, he's got to fit in that terminology. How well has he fit in that terminology yet is yet to be seen. Chicago did a great job exposing the fact that Michael wasn't there whatsoever, whether it was decoy or making an impact. And I think Chicago is well coached. I know Green Bay has the experience. Especially like, I don't know. I this one's a toss-up for me. But I'm gonna go Chicago. I know it's weird because the whole Green Bay quarterback being 27 years old and winning a Super Bowl thing, that's also true as well, potentially. So I don't know. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I'm gonna put you on the big screen. I'll be back.
Well, chat. I'm going to go along. Damn, this is tough. I'm going to go Chicago. I'm going to go Chicago 24-21. Ben, Ben Johnson has that team moving in a whole different direction. Caleb Williams, where he was last year compared to where he is this year, I mean, they met a lot of They met all expectations this year. Well, okay, let me not say all, because all would be winning a conference and or Super Bowl. So I'm gonna say they've been exceeding majority of their They've exceeded majority of their expectations. Excuse me. So yeah, I give it to Chicago. Ben Johnson gets a playoff win, and they move on to the next round. It's gonna be good. And you got to think too. Ain't that funny how both of the players that the Cowboys either traded or waived ended up with the Green Bay Packers? Isn't that kind of funny? But no, it's going to be interesting. I said 24-21 Chicago.
24-21 Chicago.
Yep, and Chicago, and Ben, just because of, and I just told the chat right now, like they've exceeded a vast majority of their expectations this year. I'm not, like I told them, I'm not going to say all expectations, because all would be winning a conference and or Super Bowl. So, but as of right now, they're surprising people week in and week out. The turnaround for me for Chicago, when I really sat there and was like, "Damn you, Norm, damn you," was when he was that game winner in overtime against Green Bay. That's when it made me click. That's when it really clicked for me. Like, yeah, all right, they're not to play with.
Hey, and shout out to Norm. And I'm gonna say this on All Grind. Yeah, we owe Norm an apology for this one. And hey, look, I just watched like the first half of that preview show, and we was clowning his ass the whole show.
Well, you
whole
can't
show
blame us because of what he had said the year prior.
Well, they also had Eberflus. So excuse me, Eberflus. So yeah, shout out to Storm and Norm, man. All right. Buffalo and Jacksonville. This is
Give
the
me
third time these two
Jacksonville.
teams met.
This is where Make-A-Wish MVP Josh Allen and Sean McDermott get exposed. Trigger Trev is once again going to pop off. I think Jacksonville 27-17, 10-point win. And then this is when everyone will see there's no Mahomes, there's no Lamar. This is where we see Josh Allen get exposed. And what do you think, real quick, what do you think? Do you think the narrative changes if Josh Allen goes out and has a bad game, or do you think people will just shot himself in the foot kind of thing?
I'm gonna tell you this. I think I don't know. I don't know, because this is like, I had to look it up because I was pretty sure I was like spot on what I was about to say, but I had to look up to make sure. This is the third time these two teams are meeting, or two organizations are meeting in the playoffs. Jacksonville is 2-0 against them in the playoffs. And even when Jacksonville was bad, they were like Buffalo's little boogeyman for some reason. And Jacksonville kind of do this weird thing where they go on these like miracle unexpected runs. And I think they're gonna be fired up. I think Trigger Trev gonna be fired up. Bust down Trigger Trev gonna be fired up, because this is his first home playoff game. And Duval County is going to step up and show up to the plate. The narrative is not going to change on Josh Allen, because if they were to lose this game, especially if they lose this game by 2 or more possessions, the narrative is not going to be, especially if Josh Allen don't have a solid game. The narrative is not going to be on Josh Allen. It's going to be on Sean McDermott. This is why I had Sean McDermott high on this list. This is another one highly unlikely compared to Green Bay, because at least Green Bay has some reports. But McDermott could get fired after this game.
Oh, you're talking about like right after the game. If it was by 2 or more.
Harbaugh is not accepting Harbaugh is not accepting interviews until next week. That means, and like I said, 7 teams called him. There's only 6 available spots for Harbaugh because he ain't going back to Baltimore. And a lot of people are saying it's Miami. What if it's Buffalo? What if it's Buffalo? Waiting to see what's going to happen with this. What if? What if it's Green Bay? What if it's Buffalo? And they bring in Harbaugh, who, mind you, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, whatever you want to call it, won a Super Bowl. Because they can't, it's looking like they can't get over the hump with Sean McDermott as the head coach. That's what it's looking like.
That's where, yeah, and I was about to say, at some point he's gonna have to get put on that hot seat because I mean,
he's been
there's
on
no
my
Mahomes
seat for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah. And there's no Mahomes and there's no Lamar, so there are no excuses if they lose.
Even if it was Lamar, this Ravens team was not beating the Buffalo Bills if they would have ended up facing each other. So, you know what? Give me Jacksonville. You said 27-17. I say 27-10. I give Buffalo 7 less points. San Francisco versus Philadelphia. San Francisco revenge game.
San Francisco revenge. No, I'm taking Philly because despite your ignorant
they was flaming me in the comment section in that reel, bro.
Yep, especially I forgot his name, but the one that says coming from a guy that's wearing a Cleveland Browns jersey. That was funny.
Wear it all the time.
Despite that ignorant comment, you need to understand one thing. Number one, like Ragu said, it's the same guys. A Super Bowl hangover is like, and I'm using this as an example, a Super Bowl hangover is not when you make the freaking playoffs. It doesn't matter where you land. Okay, you're still in the playoffs. You still have a chance to defend your title.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Hold on, real quick.
No, wait. I got a question for you.
This is my turn.
It's my show. It's my show. This is my show. So I got a question for you, all right? This is my show, my channel. So I got a question for you. You ever worked with a functional drunk before?
Yeah, that's not what this is. They still made the playoffs. You said a Super Bowl hangover. No. I mean, yes, of course I have a functional drunk.
Like I'm talking about an outwardly functional drunk.
Bro, you are you're smoking something because you got to understand, because you said Super Bowl hangover. Super Bowl hangover, they still made the playoffs, so you can take Super Bowl hangover out of there. Super Bowl hangovers are what the Rams went through in 2001 when they missed the playoffs and had a shit ton of injuries. Now, they are in the playoffs. They're what, 11-6, right? Still one.
By the grace
of God,
yeah.
Third seed. Third seed is better than anything lower than a third seed is better than anything lower than that. It is way better than 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th seed. They're in a good spot. They still got the same guys. Shit just don't always pan out. Everyone expected them to be the 2007 Patriots or some shit. Hey, everything don't pan out that way sometimes. They're 11-6, third seed. They're fine.
When I look at Philadelphia, they got 11 wins. Cool. They got a shot running back. Yes, same guys. The team chemistry, the way the team plays itself. I'm not talking about individual team. I'm talking about the collective unit. It is not the same team as last year. This is why I say they're the functional drunk. They did what they were supposed to do, despite the fact they're dealing with a shit division, and you got another shit division that you're not going to get a 4th seed whatsoever. You're at best, you're at worst. In their scenario, thanks to their division and the NFC South, their worst scenario happened with them being the 3rd seed. Okay, am I lying here or am I telling the truth here? Right? You can say 3rd seed, but Carolina got 8 wins, so Carolina not getting 3rd seed. Okay, and they didn't win. They didn't beat Chicago. They looked like shit against Chicago. I'm telling you, man. This team, despite, and it's gonna sound crazy to the naked eye, it's gonna sound crazy to everybody out here, but I don't give a damn. I stand 10 toes down on this because it is on film. This is what I've seen the whole 9 yards. Is that Philadelphia has not played complimentary football all year long. It has been off.
They're still winning games though, right?
Just like Kansas City did last year. Just like Kansas City did last year. And what was the narrative on Kansas City? Same guys, right? But was the narrative? Hey, they got that black voodoo magic. How the fuck they keep getting away with these wins? That's exactly what I'm saying with Philadelphia. How the fuck you keep getting away with these wins?
Because they are willing to do whatever it
Rams
takes.
straight up blew it. The Rams blew it. Kansas City, we saw what ended up being Kansas City. We kind of should have known, and we gave them the benefit of the doubt, but we kind of knew what Kansas City was week 1. Go back and watch what we talked about on All Ground on week 1. We kind of knew what Kansas City was about from the very first game. We saw them give up multiple comebacks. The Dallas game, the second one, they barely scaved off them the first time. They got blessed by a lightning delay. They barely scaved them off the first time. I'm not going to count the Commanders game with this one. We saw them on Thursday night against the Giants. So what I'm saying is like, yes, they have 11 wins. They also play, besides them, in a weak-ass division. Washington was hurt. We know about the Giants, and the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, it's not their fault.
They're going to get the third seed. They're going to get the third seed because the NFC South, nobody wanted to win that division. Like, think about it. If you look at it from a regular standpoint, the Atlanta Falcons were eliminated December 7th from playoff contention, and they still technically tied for first. That's how bad the NFC South is. So they're not going to get a 4th seed. They're the functional drunk. They're the guy that he's hungover, but he's functional. And hey, and that water bottle, that's not water, that's vodka, buddy. I think San Francisco, who has been battle tested, who has played complimentary football, Seattle showed their strength against San Francisco. And I said in All Grind week 1, go back and watch. I know you watch all that shit. And you probably even remember it, but you can even go back and watch this, right? Anybody can go on the All Grind Sports channel and watch this. I said week 1, when we talked about Seattle and San Francisco, I said Seattle lost this game because they couldn't take advantage of San Francisco's mistakes, right? And they did that in week 18. But that's Seattle. This is a motivated San Francisco team. Fred Warner, I believe, was supposed to be coming back, might come back the next round. They make it to the next round. CMC, look, 31-14 San Francisco. 31-14 San Francisco. And if it becomes a close game, San Francisco will win the game. I think San Francisco got this.
I got 27-21.
Hey, and I'll put it to you like this. I promise you this. This may sound not as crazy, but I don't like Popeyes. I think their food is nasty. We know about them dry ass biscuits. If the Eagles were to make it back to the Super Bowl, win, lose, draw the Super Bowl, if they make it back to the Super Bowl, if they're supposed to be this great team that everybody else claiming to be, right? Same guy, same talent, great team. They got a chance to really run it back. If they go to the Super Bowl, I will eat 5 Popeyes biscuits with no water and no complaints. Live on the nosebleed section, live on from the nosebleeds. I'll do it. I mean, that's my version of putting my foot in my mouth. That's how confident I am that the Eagles are not going back to the Super Bowl. And it's great because if you remember, go back and watch the prediction show. I had the Super Bowls winning the Super Bowl. I had the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I literally said 13-4, and the Eagles are going to repeat as Super Bowl champions. I literally said that. And throughout the course of the season, I was like, I am looking highly wrong for that take. I said, the Eagles ain't winning the Super Bowl this year.
Hey, only time will tell, my friend.
Yep, only time will tell. But I would get on this live stream, and I eat 5 Popeyes biscuits, no water. That's my torture because them things are hockey pucks. All right, so now we got. I just had my thingy up here. Chargers, your Patriots.
I got Patriots 31-27. Home playoff game. Mike Vrabel has them ready. Stephon Diggs has been an excellent leader. And that team has bought into what Vrabel is trying to do here. So yeah, that's why I have New England winning it. I don't have it a blowout, obviously, because we know what the Chargers can do offensively with Justin Herbert. But Justin Herbert falls to 0-3 in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Justin Herbert gets his first win in the playoffs.
We shall see.
35-17. 35-17. Chargers. And then we got Houston and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh break their drought.
I thought. No. Actually,
I ain't gonna laugh at it because it's Aaron Rodgers. He
yeah.
got experience, but I'm gonna tell you something. That
I'm gonna
Baltimore defense, both times against Pittsburgh, made Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's had a hard time driving the ball down the field a lot of times.
Yeah, I think.
Back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm giving that to Houston just because of that defense, man. Like I said, they had a real sluggish start. Injuries did play a factor, but this is a team you don't want to see in the first round. And I am so thankful that the Patriots don't have to see them in the first round. Ooh, I mean, we already got our hands full with Justin Herbert and the Chargers as is, but fuck. The Texans is not the team to play with, especially on that defense. And if you're a team that is having a hard time moving the ball, that defense is going to have a feast. And they've also done and like I said, they've turned it up in the second half of the season, and that means sacks, QB pressure, QB knockdowns, and QB hurries. Aaron Rodgers is going to be running.
This is Pittsburgh's. What, they first home playoff game, not counting COVID. I want to say since 2016. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But I know it's been a minute because usually they've been making the playoffs. They've been going on the road.
On the road, yeah.
And the one time they did have that playoff home game, yeah, my Brownies put belt to ass on them, but there was nobody there.
That was in 2020.
Yes, January 10th, 2021. I've not forgotten that date. Give me. You know what? I'm not gonna pick because I have my hopes and I don't want to jinx. I don't like both of these teams. How about that? So, but to keep it professional, Houston 17-14. I think it's going to be one of the lowest scoring games. 17-14 Houston. All right, college football playoffs, semifinals. There were 12 teams. Now there's 4. And when it's all said and done, we're going to only have 2 teams left. Miami versus Ole Miss. Dre, I'm about to drop it interesting. I'm going to ask you this question. Chat, I'm going to ask you this question as well. They might not respond in time, but that's all right. Dre, when was the last time Miami played against Ole Miss?
Absolute last time that Miami.
Absolute last time. Don't look it up. Last time.
Fuck. That's been Yeah, go ahead. I know it's something egregious.
It's been 75 years since the last time these 2 programs played against each other. 1951. 1951 is the last time these 2 teams have played against each other. These 2 programs. We know that Miami beat Ohio State 24-14 in the Cotton Bowl. I think Miami has a great pass rush. They overall have the better defense out of the 2. But Miami does have their offensive consistency issues. But I think their pass rush is good enough to give Ole Miss a fight. They should be able to force. I think their best chance to win. They should be able to force Ole Miss into quick three and outs. They got to have Ole Miss on quick possessions because Ole Miss is a very well balanced team.
Yeah,
They're an explosive team,
and they don't go
and
away.
no, they don't go away. They don't. But like their offense line is not as good neither. But like if you were to ask me, like if I had to ask, like if you were to say, hey, who's the more physical team, like the more hard hitting team, I would give it to Ole Miss. But I think Miami's like just as hard hitting and is just and more skillful in the defense position. I'm gonna choose defense over offense in this game, and I think Miami's defense can cover any potential inconsistencies that they could run into. Also, not to mention that Miami has a good run game too. Give me Miami by a final score of 24-20.
24. You said 24-20.
24-20. Especially if Ole Miss can establish a good offensive line play and they getting dominated in the trenches, which is very possible. Give me Miami for the dub.
Give me Miami as well, just because that whole fucking defense is going to the NFL. God damn. So
Do you
give
think
me
Miami win the whole thing? Then you think they go all the way?
The run they're going on. It's well, I can't say absolutely because you also got them Indiana boys over there too. But real quick, hold on, let me get back to what I was trying to say. Miami over Ole Miss. I'm sorry, Jay Will, but Miami 31-17.
I think it's gonna be closer than that.
And oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, can I jump to the next team?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we got Indiana, Oregon 2, correct? Second mat meeting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The only loss Oregon had was against you know who, Indiana. Sorry, Oregon. All colors, no championships. I'm going to Indiana 41-10. We are going to get Indiana, Miami.
The high power offense
in the national championship.
Oregon is only going to put up 10.
Have you seen this Indiana team?
I have.
I think they put BTA on Oregon.
I don't think
to me, you know what this game feels like? You know what this game feels like to me? Oregon, Indiana, to me, feels like Ohio State versus Alabama in the 2021 national championship. Happy we got there, but at the end of the day, we knew who we had to verse.
I have faith in Indiana, but I don't think it's going to be a BTA. And it's funny that you say Indiana 41 because I got Indiana scoring 41 as well. But I think it's going to be 41-34. I think Indiana wins on a game-winning touchdown.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I know. So if based off of our predictions, we got the same teams winning, Indiana and Miami. And if that happens, make sure y'all hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell because we're gonna talk about it. Any final thoughts about the coaching carousel and the playoffs, both for college football and for the NFL?
Not at all. I'm excited.
It's like this is literally football chaos. This is also football heaven for us because we got a lot to talk about and a lot to cover and a lot to watch. Again, Harbaugh is going to be a massive commodity. The playoffs for the Bills and the Packers, to me, in my opinion, could potentially create a butterfly effect that's going to affect the league for the rest of eternity. And it's going to be like one of those next major butterfly effects. It's very interesting to see where things are going to go, how things are going to shape up. But I think one or two things is going to happen. Either Harbaugh is going to take the job in Atlanta. I think that's his best fit, based off of the teams that are available now. I would like to see him in Cleveland. He grew up a Cleveland Browns fan. He grew up in the city. He is a Northeast Ohioan.
Mm-hmm.
But this is professional versus personal. I'm pretty sure 10-year-old Harbaugh would tell him to take the job, but this Harbaugh is like, I don't know. I also think Harbaugh, if he was to take the job in Cleveland, has enough pull to get Andrew Berry fired too. I don't think he would do that, but I don't think he'd come here. But I think Harbaugh is either going to take the Atlanta job based off of what we know today and the teams that are actually available, or he's going to go to TV. And if I had to flip a coin, I would say he goes to TV. I think I would go to TV over going to any of these jobs. So there's a lot to look out for. We're gonna be here for it. We're gonna go live Sunday night. Because I don't think there is a Sunday night game. No, there is a Sunday night game. So we're gonna go live like in between the two playoff games between San Francisco and Philadelphia, and then New England and the Chargers.
Chargers.
So we're gonna go live for that. I might actually do a live reaction, Dre. I might do a live reaction to the actual game. I don't know. We'll see. Because I was thinking about doing that for the Browns. For this upcoming season, I might just like test these playoffs to see how it goes. I don't know. We'll see. See how it goes. But we're definitely gonna go live Sunday. We're definitely gonna go live next Wednesday as well to cover everything and anything that gets broken. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards that every YouTuber push. Because I'll be uploading the YouTube shorts and everything like that. Dre, let them know where you can find that blog at.
If depending on your phone, iPhone or Android, or if you just got a laptop, you also go on there too. Go check my blog out. I got you guys covered on all sports, analytically and statistically. I promise you, I won't disappoint. I cover everything from professional to the college level. Like I said, if you guys are someone that likes to read, my analytical page is about a 3 to 4 minute read. Open it up on your laptop though, because if you pull it up on a small screen, it's going to look like a 30-minute read. So pull it up on a laptop. I promise it's only 3 to 4 minutes, no longer than that. But if you're someone who likes that likes stats, then I also got a stats page for you. No biggie there. Like I said, andrelakes.blogspot.com, AUNDRE LAKE. I probably shouldn't say that all out loud, but Andre analyzes. Andre analyzes. You can either type Andre analyzes, or you can just go find my my blog website on my Instagram or TikTok. If there's a way, can you please edit that first part out?
No, this is live, buddy. We're live, pal. Did you forget that we're actually live?
Well, actually, no. Yeah, that's fine. I can let them know that. I can let them know that. I was thinking of something else. So no, andrelakes.blogspot.com. For those of you who always, because I know you guys are gonna put ANDRE. No, all lowercase. AUNDRE. So LAKES at blogspot.com. I promise you will enjoy it. And if you guys have a sentence that might be better than mine too, or something that might fit just a little bit better. Oh, pause. God damn. Let me know in the comment section. I'm open to constructive criticism, and don't feel bad or be like, oh my God, I shouldn't be telling him what to do. No. I don't need a yes man. So help me help you. Help me out here.
Dre,
First pause
so
of 2026.
You said what?
First pause of 2026 on here.
I guess so. I might have had one like on Monday, but I'm not totally sure. Did I have? I don't know. Yeah. So okay, cool. So like I said, the whole 9 yards. I'm gonna put the little graphic thingy up there right now. Whenever it decides to load, there it is. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ding 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 notification bell. Bing bing bing. Until next time, thank you all for joining the nosebleed section. The nosebleed section is closed. Along with Andre Lakes, the sports junkie, I'm Tyrell from the Nosebleed Show. Until next time, see you later.